Currently, 2:03 New York time. Just wanted to go over these charts real quick because my read was so good today and it was so on point, and I didn't act in the way that I wanted to. My initial guess was, well, coming into the market, we had these equal lows right here from Asia session, and then we had this new day opening gap or new week opening gap right here, and we were opening up right here. Now, with all that included, we were also in this guy right here. We were in an inverse fair value gap, so I'm going to go ahead and mark that out on the daily. So just anything in that shaded green is going to be that inverse fair value gap, and I'm going to go ahead and change the color to like more like there we go. So green with the purple inside, and then we also have this fair value gap right here that's unmitigated on the daily chart as well. So my overall theory for the day was that I think we're going higher and I think we're bullish, but I think that we have to come down and we have to at least touch this fair value gap, or at least come down to consequent encroachment. You can see there's a volume imbalance right there, so that's why I have the size of the fair value gap the way it is. But that was just my whole thesis, was that we're going to come down here first before we can go up and balance out that price. So coming into the 1 minute, I was looking at price. We were coming in. I'm going to take all of this off and then we can just reintroduce it later on. We were coming into price and I wanted to look at the 7 to 9 time. Now we took out a lot of this sell side liquidity. So initially I wanted to target this sell side right here, and I wanted to target the new day opening gap. However, that didn't work out that way because we ended up taking out this sell side prior to market open. We took this out at 850, essentially, right at 850. And then at open, we opened up right here. I was on the chart right here, but I didn't trust this to sell into it. And I wish I did, because I probably would have been done for the day and I would have taken that and that would have been fine. Although I think what I might have done was held for new day opening gap. Which, if I would have held for new day opening gap, that would have been fine because we hit it, but we never cleared it. We never hit the bottom of it. So I was looking at this price right here. So I had this price right here, and then the price at 9 o'clock. So 8:52 right there. So that's low. 9 o'clock right there. So I was grading from the candle high to the candle low right here. And again, I still haven't like figured out exactly how to use the grading system super accurately, but I want to continue to use it because I know it's really powerful and it's only going to be something that helps me out going down the road. I'm pretty upset, honestly. I'm not okay. I can't say I'm upset. I'm just a little bit like perturbed. I'm a little bit like, oh god dang man, I can't believe I missed that, you know. And the reason really why is because I was being impatient. I was just being impatient, and I wasn't reading the market the best I could while it was going on. So okay, we have our grading system high here, and this occurs at 6:30, and then we have this leg that comes down to right here at 9. 7 to 9, that's like right here. That could be, so both of these I think are valid. I mean, yeah, I think they're both valid, right? So we're looking at this coming into 8 o'clock. We get this guy right here. I'm gonna go ahead and move that up, and we start getting this move lower, right? So we get this leg that pushes up, and it clears all the highs out from last week, right? So this is the high of the day right here, and then all night you can see we had this new day opening gap, and we had these equal Asia lows. And I'm sure people were targeting these, trying to get us down to there, and they just kept on like getting stopped out and getting, because it was just moving up and down, up and down, up and down. So it kind of made it like a little bit unsure. So we get this leg up, and then we get this leg down. We come up, we try and meet try and attack it one more time, and then we get a sell off. And this occurs at 7:10 right there. So 7:10, we get the sell off right here. We get another little like kind of move that wiggles back and forth, but it's just unable to. It's a failure swing, right? And so it moves down, comes up, meets this little fair value gap right here. Look at this little guy. And that controls price enough to send it down further. And then right here, we hit this order block that's attached to this gradient within the price leg. So this is like an unrealized gradient. You can look at it like that. We hit this order block. And I remember I was looking at this and I thought it was going to go at least up to here. You know, I was like, I don't know. I don't think it's going to attack this before open. But then we end up selling off. And I was like, dang, that sucks. You know, but at that point I realized as well we had created this buy side right here, right? So like you can see this is pretty, this is a little bit flat, right? This is a little bit equal. It's like, it just seems like it's going to get attacked at some point, right? And so we sell off and then we get our 930 open right here. So with all that in mind, my thesis was that we were pretty much going to come up here and then we are going to go lower, or we were just going to go lower. I wasn't too sure how it was going to happen, but there's a story that's being told as price action was forming in real time, right? So we have the midnight price right here. We have the 830 open right here. We have 930 right here. So this is a 930 candle. 930 candle comes up and it meets this fair value gap. So it's trying to go higher, and it's trying, really what it's trying to do, because the target is lower, right? I'm thinking lower prices. Honestly, I think we need to come down here before we can go up higher, and it seems to be proven to be correct, right? So that's my thesis. That's kind of what I was sticking to. So with the assumption that we were going to go lower, I would have to read this as we're grabbing liquidity, right? We're taking liquidity, we're balancing out price, and we're moving lower. But every single time we come up and try and grab liquidity, we try and go lower, but we cannot get lower. We can't get past. I have RTH here as well. So this is RTH. Yeah, this is the regular trading hours gap as well. So we come up at 9:30. We hit this fair value gap. We come down, kind of wiggle around here, and we get down to the regular trading hours, touch the new day opening gap. But then we come back up, can't get any higher. Try and do it again. We failed to do that. And so right here, we're kind of just consolidating, right? We're in this consolidation. And I'm just like I didn't want to miss this short. I was getting all excited about the short, and I just wanted to not miss it. And I think that's what got me into the trade, because I ended up shorting right here, thinking that we were just going to go lower. Like we were just manipulating a little bit higher to start making that final leg lower. And I ended up getting stopped out. I lost $74 on the day. I took a total of 3 trades, 1 break even, 2 losses. And even with the correct idea in mind, right? So you can see we're kind of like gyrating between the 50% point of that leg, which is also pretty much the 50% point of the inverse fair value gap, and this new day opening gap, and the lower portion of this. So we're staying in the lower portion, trying to move lower. So that's the story that I'm kind of like perceiving from price, is like it wants to go lower, but it can't go lower because it has this target right here. And I guess the way I'm kind of thinking about it now is, in order for price to achieve a certain objective, it has gates to go through, and this would be the gate that it needs to go through. In order for price to be able to go lower, it had to come up here, and it had to take these highs. And it was trying to go lower, it's trying to go lower, and it's trying to go lower. That's why we're accumulating right here. And finally, we get this move. I ended up shorting like up here down to like right here, and I didn't take any profits because I was only on a micro. It was like 120 bucks. You know, it was a good short. But I thought it was going to go lower, and it didn't, and I ended up going break even on that trade. And at that point, I kind of realized, like, okay, this isn't doing what I wanted it to do. At 10, look at it, and even at 10 o'clock, so we get our first presented fair value gap. Let's move back to that. So we get our first presented fair value gap right here, right? So this is a no, right. First presented SIBI. Is yeah. So because we have this volume imbalance, I took this as a fair value gap. Now, I don't know if that's really correct. And if it is, That's something I have to ask. That's a question I'd have to ask, I guess. Like, is a fair value gap count when it has a volume imbalance and a wick that covers up the whole entire space between it? But we come back down. So for now, we're going to just disregard that and we're going to take that off. We're moving up above 830, going below 830. We're kind of moving in between that 830 and midnight price, trying to go lower, trying to go lower. And this would have been our first presented busy right here. And our first presented Sibi, I guess, could be right here. But it's just not big enough. So we have this overlapping busy and Sibi, though, that I would probably assume more like these are the first presented, right? Acting within these. So I remember thinking, I think at this point, I only want to make a sell if we're up here. And we started getting the model right here. And this is at 10:30. So it's like a little bit off time, 10:20, 10:15 right here. 10:09, we get this move up. We come down a little bit lower, but we're unable to candle below the new day opening gap. Candle below consequent encroachment of regular trading hours, but we didn't candle below the new day opening gap. And I just wasn't convinced that we were done going lower. And so I ended up shorting right here, hoping that, like, and like I said, like, I shouldn't have been hoping anything. I should have been more sure and confident and stuck with my theory and longed right here, because what ended up happening was we took out these highs right here. And then when we got here, I was at the river at the time, but I was looking at my cell phone and I wanted to take a sell here. We had this fair value gap. I had this marked out. If you look right here on the 5-minute, we have a five-minute fair value gap that we kind of popped into. And I guess like right here, you can see that we kind of do create like a breaker via the candle bodies, but not the candle wicks. Or not, yeah, not the candle wicks. Like, it's not a real breaker via the candle wicks. But that's what I was looking for, was a breaker right here. I was looking for another move up where I can sell into and then take this ride down. But we ended up just selling down, and then I didn't have an opportunity at that point. I wasn't sure on price and what it was going to do. So we go up, we hit that gate, and then we're pretty much authorized permission to move lower. And what do? We move lower. And so you can see we get just above 50%. That's the optimal trade entry right there. And that's the best spot to enter the trade. And we move lower, and we do exactly what I thought we were going to do. And I think we're going to continue lower until we hit this gap. That's my idea. That's what I think is going to happen. So why did I not? I thought this was going to happen. I felt like I just knew, like, we're going to move up, or we're going to attack this buy side, and then we're going to move lower. And then you have the context of, like, we're in a bullish market. Like, the market's not in a bearish market. It's in a bearish market in this moment, intraday, but it's not bearish, at least yet. I mean, who knows? We might be rejecting here and just going lower, and we might inverse that fair value gap and go touch last month's low. That could happen. But right now, there's nothing that says that we're going to do that. To me, it seems like we're going to go up higher and probably hit all-time highs. That's kind of where my mind is thinking. And because of that, and the way that price is booking, it seems like that's correct, because if we wanted to move lower, it would just move lower. It wouldn't have all of this resistance, like this higher resistance run. I think it would just move lower. But since we're so bullish, it's very difficult for the price to start moving lower and hit these objectives. And so you get these like really high resistance runs lower like this. And had I just stuck with my original thesis, one, shorting right here, that would have been an easy short. Two, taking this long up to right here, exactly where I thought it was going to go. And then shorting once we got into this area, because this is like basically what I thought was going to happen, was we're going to attack these highs right here. We weren't going to go any higher. There's no buy side up there. There's nothing for us to attack unless we go lower. And lo and behold, that's exactly what we do. We leave this buy side, and I remember looking at this buy side thinking, oh, I think we're going to go down like right here and then attack it. But then we just started going down, 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 lower, lower, lower. And you can see like we are coming up, we're touching that order block right there. We reject, we create this other little order block right here. And this is at the 50%, almost exactly, of the inverse fair value gap on the daily chart. We reject right there. That's bearish. No candles above the 50% area of the inverse fair value gap. And then we reject. We go lower. We get this little move right here. And at this point, we are now on a quadrant of that, that initial leg that I was using, right? And I mean, at this point now, you can probably move these guys. Like at this point, again, like these are things I'm still learning. Um, and then right here, you can see we're trying to get over 50% of the whole leg, right? And we can't get over halfway point of the whole entire leg. This should have been this laying across this quadrant. Was just another thing that I think should have been like, okay, like this is important. Like we're not going to go much higher than this. And once we do, that's the place where you want to sell above 8:30, above midnight, and boom, we hit the 50%, camp candle above it, we go lower, we lay a fair value gap right here on the point 0.8, 0.625, we move lower, unable to move higher than this right here. See, we're keeping the candle bodies below this guy right here. And below this right here, and then we just continue to sell off. Eventually, getting through the first presented busy and the first presented Sibby, trying to hit halfway point right there, getting to the lows of the day that were created at 10:30, and selling off. And again, I think we're going down here. That's where we're going to end the day at. And yeah, I mean, I could probably short right there. Maybe like that'll work out, but it's just not my model. It's just not what I'm looking for. My model is to sell right here and to buy right here. But moving forward, I think as far as like journaling goes and just like the things I need to work on is trying to understand the narrative of price. Is it going lower? No, but is it clearly trying to go lower? Yes, it's trying to go lower. It's giving us lower highs, lower lows, but it's not able to. Along with that, we're getting this trend line right here. I remember looking at this too. We were getting this trend line right here, and I was thinking, ooh, we might attack this and go up higher. So when we start getting these trend lines, these are things that like tend to get attacked. And of course, we did attack it. We attacked it right here, and we moved with some pretty good speed higher. And that was just like, obvious. So how does that long occur? Well, we're coming up here, and we hit the bottom part of this new day opening gap. We wick down there, we get this kind of breaker, and then we move up, we get a fair value gap, we retest the fair value gap, bodies laying outside of the fair value gap, which is bullish. And then we get these kind of moves here, staying within the first presented. We kind of like retest the first presented, and then we just get this move up. Again, we're touching the border block right here, and then we move up higher, moving up higher, hitting our objective, and immediately right when we hit our objective, we start selling off, and we can no longer get any higher. That's like the line in the sand right here. Is this order block, right? So you got this order block right here, and we're basically like we're wicking at the 50% mark, but we're not able to get above it, which was pretty bearish at that moment, and of course we sell off. So moving forward, again, like I really need to focus on being a little bit more patient with my executions and trying to understand what is price telling me. If price wants to move further, if my targets are down, if I think it's going to go further down, then I need to stick with that narrative in mind and have that as the foundational piece of like what I'm looking for. And for us to go further down, we need to take all this out and we need to take this out. And so it would have been safer to long right here and then short up here. And even looking at premium and discount, at this point right now, we're at a discount. At this point right here, we're in a premium. So I hope this makes sense for me in the future. I hope this is something I can pick up on and like just start to use a little bit more. But I really feel like I'm starting to understand price action, and I'm able to read it much better. And now it's just like in that moment, in those moments where you have like really just a couple of minutes to think about like what is price going to do, to be able to make better decisions as I go. So that's my read on price action today, and I just really wanted to go over that because I'm excited. I feel like I did a good job at understanding what it was going to do, not executing on it, but that's fine. Like these are all things that you just continue to work on, and that's why I'm trading on a micro. Like $74 isn't like a big deal. It's like I'll be fine. My accounts are still active, everything is still going. And really it's just a matter. I honestly think, I truly believe that I'm gonna pass my combines this week. Just because I'm like starting to grasp it so much, and I'm starting to understand. And right here, we're actually hitting the prior week's high. So that's, no wonder we're getting like some resistance right here. We're definitely gonna get resistance right here. Creating some buy side targets right here, and that trend line right there probably needs to be attacked before we go any lower. So um, that's my read on price. And tomorrow's another day. Let's get after it. Super stoked to be a trader. So I'll see y'all.